All right, brace for impact check. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh! Yeah! Let's go! Oh yeah, dude! What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Tricky Jim at Full Grip Games. We've got a sweet video today. I'm going to be showing off a Gengar and Mimikyu Tag Team GX deck that does more damage for the amount of trainer cards in your opponent's hand. This deck is a lot of fun to play, and I'm stoked to show off the list, but before we check it out, I want to let you guys know for a limited time, I am selling the screen-printed Tricky Jim logo t-shirts. The link is in the description below. They're 20 bucks. They help support the channel. Big thank you to everybody who's already put in an order for one. I'm really excited about these, and hey, they're comfy and easy to wear. Now let's check out the Gengar deck. Gengar and Mimikyu has one of the most disruptive GX attacks in the game. Horror House GX for 1 Psychic Energy reads your opponent can't play any cards from their hand during their next turn. So a lot of times your opponent will just end up drawing their card, looking at their hand, and passing it right back on over to you. And then if you have 1 extra Psychic Energy attached to this Pokemon, both you and your opponent draw cards until you have 7 cards in your hand. Now, allowing your opponent to draw cards for free might sound like a bad idea, but it combos perfectly with Poltergeist. For 2 Psychic Energy, your opponent reveals their hand, and this attack does 50 damage for each trainer card you find there. So if your opponent has 6 trainer cards in their hand, you're going to be swinging for 300 damage for just 2 energy. We have a bunch of ways in this deck to manipulate our opponent's hand. First of all, we play the Omastar from Team Up with the Fossil Bind ability, which reads, as long as you have fewer Pokemon in play than your opponent, they can't play any item cards. And if your opponent is item locked, their hand's going to get jammed up, and you're going to be using Poltergeist for some really big numbers. And we only play 4 Pokemon in this deck, so odds are our opponent will probably have more Pokemon in play than we will. We also play 2 copies of Reset Stamp, which might seem counterintuitive, but we actually use this card at the beginning of the game, not so much at the end of the game. At the beginning of the game, you can Reset Stamp your opponent to 6, so if they're trying to be crafty and pare their hand down to just a few cards, you can stamp them up to 6 before using Poltergeist and hope to hit some trainer cards in their hand. And then we also play 4 copies of Surprise Box from Unbroken Bonds, which allows us to put a card from our opponent's discard pile into their hand. Great for loading up our opponent's hand with some useless items. Now, of course, since this is a disruptive deck, we've got 4 copies of Crushing Hammer as well as a Fan of Waves. Great for slowing our opponent down and forcing them into compromising situations. We also play 3 copies of Power Plant, which turns off all Pokemon GX abilities. Great for stopping Dedenne GX, and this deck is focused around the Green's Exploration Engine, which allows us to search our deck for up to 2 trainer cards, reveal them, and put them into our hand, but we can only play it if there are no Pokemon with abilities in play, so we use it to help set up our Omastar, or we can use it if we never end up getting Omastar into play. This deck can definitely win games without setting up Omastar, which is why we just play 2 Unidentified Fossils, 1 Rare Candy, and 1 Omastar, since we're only going to be using it sometimes. This deck is a lot of fun to play and requires some puzzle solving in order to take the win. Check out the highlights from the stream and let me know, what do you think of Gengar and Mimikyu Tag Team GX featuring Omastar in the comments below. The busted thing about only playing 3 Gengar, oh yeah dude, they're done. The busted thing about only playing 3 Gengar is that they're more likely to mulligan, right? And when they mulligan, they're absolutely roasted. So we choose to go first. ADP, we've got the turn 1 energy drop, which is very fortunate because we only play 8 energy and a spinner. So 9 outs to energy, that's not bad, right? I mean, that's not like horrible, but it's definitely not guaranteed that we have a turn 1 energy drop. Now, we are guaranteed to start Gengar and Mimikyu, so that much of the equation is absolutely guaranteed. They can rope this thing into the active position, and because they've got the Aurora energy, I can actually fan that away too. It's a possibility. But I think that, yeah, we should just have them absolutely where we want them here. We can greens. I could grab the fan, put the Aurora energy down, and I could also grab the fossil. Let's see, is the Omastar in the deck? Omastar is in the deck. What about the Rare Candy? The Rare Candy is in the deck. So we just get these guys. Go for Crushing Hammer on the bench. No. Fan of Waves, the active. Unidentified Fossil down. And we just Horror House. Hey, Pete, with the raid of 8. Thank you so much, Pete, for that raid. Hopefully you're having an awesome day. So they're just going to Intrepid Sword. You just, at this point, you know that they have 6 trainers in their hand and that they're just absolutely done, right? You just already know. So we're going to grab the Rare Candy and we're going to grab the... oh, my Evolution Incense is not in the deck. That's the piece that we're missing, right? No, there it is. Okay, sick. So we're going to grab these guys. And we're going to go Evolution Incense, get ourselves the Omastar. And we're going to Rare Candy into the Omastar. And I do not think that they are going to be able to get the knockout with the Zacian V without benching more Pokemon. I do think that I'll probably risk it and just put this down. I think that's fine. Then we're just Poltergeist. This should be a knockout. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh yeah, yeah. That's you're out of here, dude. Arceus, Dialga, and also Palkia GX. Goodbye. 450 damage. Looking good. I appreciate the raid and the hosts there again, Pete. Much, much appreciated. Now, let's see. They've got the Dance Tribute. They've got the Air Balloon down. The hope is that even if they put the sword down, take a knockout with Zacian, right, that having the second Gengar built up already on the bench means that I'll be able to come swinging in. It looks like they are going to get the sword, right? But, you know, they're going to take one of my Pokemon away. That's fine. And we find some pretty good cards here. So they're going to item lock themselves. And the thing about them item locking themselves by taking this knockout, right? Well, if they bench another Pokemon. But I guess I do have to worry about them finding a switch. Oh, no, they're item locking themselves. See, I think that they had a hand just full of trainers. I guess they did have to, like, get rid of the hand, right? But now they're going to item lock themselves. So they can't possibly have a switch. And they're going to take 3 prizes. And since they're item locking themselves, right, they had no metal in the discard previously. So they had to data change that. But yes, the Dedenne makes it so, and now they're like definitely item locked. So they can't switch in order to take a back-to-back knockout with the Zacian. So they're going to take 3 prizes here. It's not worth stamping because we don't want to reset the hand. But I will try a Crushing Hammer. Oh, the Power Plant's pretty sweet. I actually think I saved the Crushing Hammer in case they start attaching to a new one. We're just going to go Poltergeist. 1, 2, 3. That's pretty good. So they may Marnie this next turn. And we know that they can't attack. They'd have to retreat. They have to retreat, right? Because if they leave this thing in the active, they lose. And they can't Saucer, we know that. So their best hope is to Intrepid Sword with this Zacian here. They have to hit. They got an Energy Switch that they can't play with the Skyla. They can't play the Rope either. They're item locked. They can't play any of these cards. Thank you, Aaron Wolf, for the Prime sub. The best part about this deck is that you're just utterly confusing your opponent, right? They just, you know, oh, Big Charm, insane. They might just not have any idea what's going on. And we know we're taking a knockout here with Poltergeist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But they're still item locked. So I know I'm not in danger of getting knocked out because they're still item locked here. They have like 7 trainers in their hand. They whiffed an energy off the Intrepid. That was big. They had to hit here on the Zacian in order to have a chance. They also haven't used Alter Creation, so they're only hitting 260 actually, which is not a knockout on my Gengar and Mimikyu now. So we're just walking it in, folks. We're walking it in. Intrepid Sword even, I mean, they have to try and get the energy, but at what cost, right? And they already know. They already know. They're like, yeah, I got like 7 trainers in my hand. Gonna go ahead and scoop it up. Look at all those mulligans. Look at all them mulligans. Oh yeah, baby. Now all those mulligans can either be really good or it could be really bad. Here is the Crushing Hammer. It is not good. Yeah, we already knew that that was going to be happening. Dang, bro. Ah, well. Because now they could get the turn 1 Alter Creation easy peasy, right? Which is not great. Why not Stamp? I want them to have a huge hand. So that I can Poltegeist for lots of damage. Oh yeah, they've got the turn 1 Alter Creation. Oh yeah, dude. That hand was the gnar. That hand was broken. Absolutely. The hammerheads too on top of it. All right there, bud. It's cool, man. It's cool. It's cool. All right. So all right there, sport. What are we doing here? Cynthia and Caitlin, that's fine. Probably get rid of the switch. The hand was very large. It was. Okay, we've got Power Plant. I think I want to Tag Call and thin the deck as much as I can, right? Okay. Power Plant. Horror House. They have to pass it back to me. And I kind of desperately need a Psychic Energy off of the Cynthia and Caitlin here. That'd be great. Cool, man. All right. So they played their hand down a lot. I think, do I go Stamp to 6 new cards, box? I think that they knew what this hand was. So I think that we go Stamp to 6, box. And I think we give them like the spinner or something that like they might not be able to play. Like the no, the Great Catcher allows them to discard the Cherish Ball, probably, and then Surprise Box again for like the energy switch, I think. And we hope for the best. All right, brace for impact check. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh! Let's go! Oh yeah, dude! Oh my gosh, you're done, bud. Oh, you're out of here, sport. Oh man, really wish we had a Big Charm there. But hopefully hopefully, I don't know, maybe the Power Plant sticks them. I mean, we gave them the Cherish Ball knowing that we've got Power Plant, so they can't day-day change. So we're hoping that maybe the Power Plant stops them from a day-day change. They could Crobat, but their hand is just filled with trainers, right? So they have to try and pare their hand down as much as they can. And they need double Saucer with only one metal in the discard pile in order to have a shot. They got Crobat for 3 and a Research. Okay, still only one metal in the discard pile. Hoping that the Power Plant sticks. And it looks like they're not knocking out my active. That's for sure. Okay, double Air Balloon, and they're just going to Intrepid Sword. They have to pass. Now is the time to strike. Okay. So let's think about what we got going on here. An Energy Spinner. I probably want to go get the Air Balloon out of my deck with Green's Exploration. It's probably what we're doing here. Evolution Incense. Okay, I've got the Rare Candy. Big Charm would also be good right now, right? So I need Air Balloon, right? I know that. I think double greens is probably the best. I need Air Balloon. I need to attach. I mean, we want to see if we hit this Crushing Hammer for sure. We don't. Okay. So they've got a lot of Pokemon in play. We could start to set up Screen's Exploration. Let's go get ourselves the Air Balloon. It could just be Air Balloon and Charm. Because that way, if they don't find their sword, I honestly think Air Balloon Charm is probably the best. And we could just put them in like a compromising situation there. Seems good. All right, we only hit 2 there. But there's no guarantee that they even get the Brave Blade this next turn. Why not put down a Fossil? Because I think I'd rather try to protect against, like, at most they play 1 sword. So I'm trying to stop them from finding their 1 sword. You know what I mean? I think, like, yeah, putting the Fossil down is good, but if I can stop that knockout, that would also be pretty huge. They might play a Tool Scrapper. No, they probably just play the sword instead of the Tool Scrapper. I've got to Dene. They can't play it. They've got a very thin hand. They're just going to retreat. They don't want to bring the Zacian up yet. They kind of know that all their eggs are in this basket, right? So they have to wonder, like, am I going to... Oh, they're paring their hand down even more. They've got Brave Blade. So if they run Tool Scrapper, Tool Scrapper there is pretty good. So we'll do that. Right, there's no items in the hand, so we probably greens for a Surprise Box to, like, get some damage. And potentially another Energy Spinner. I could go... No, I can't Tag Switch. Yeah, just to get some damage down. Stamp to 6. Oh, I could stamp to 6. Yeah, that's true. We want to give them back something that they might not be able to play. That's fine. I mean, we'll get, because if they have like, I don't know, they might deck themselves out, which is another concern. So like, I don't really mind giving them that. How many switches are they down? They're down 3 saucers. They're down 2 switches. We'll take a look at the hand. All right, we hit for 3. So I think that that's basically, because if they switched, the Tool Scrapper was actually really meaningful. They could hard retreat, right? They could research, and they got 2 cards left in the deck. But if I can knock this out, because if they swing, they take 3 cards off the prizes. You know what I mean? So then, like, all I need is 1 trainer in that whole hand. So they're just, because they've only got all 4 saucer in the discard pile. Yes. So my route to win here is like pretty straightforward, because they've got all their saucers in the discard pile. They can't possibly attack this next turn. Okay, we can just Coach Trainer. Don't need to Great Catcher yet. Poltergeist, they've got 4. Cool. And only 2 cards left in deck. They can't research. They can't attack. We know this. We find another surprise box. And that's one of the things that's just so nutty about Gengar, is that they, like, when they take their 3 prizes, they increase their hand size so much. Now they can pare their hand down quite a bit. Do they actually have 1 metal energy left? How many do I need here? You resist Psychic by 20? So I need 3? Do I actually lose? No, because I'm going to Great Catcher. I think they have 3. I think, but we're going to Surprise Box for good measure. And give them a research that they can't play. Okay. Oh, and then I go find double hammer too. Yeah. I could double hammer. Right. So we have greens for double hammer. If I hit 1 hammer, then it's like, it's GG's. But let's go, chat. All right. It looks like they're playing the Rapid Striker Shifu deck. I'm actually really curious to see how this matchup goes, because I feel like this matchup's pretty good. Nice top deck of the energy there for us. That's exactly what we want. And I can greens. Yeah, this just seems like a great matchup, because I can stop this thing in its tracks. All right, so we're going to greens. And Power Plant just turns off weakness as well. So we can go get the Power Plant. Honestly, I could just go get... Oh, I need an Energy Spinner too. So I think... knocking out the Jirachi is like fine, and I've got Great Catcher. We're going to want Energy Spinner to get all, like, pretty much all the energies I need for the rest of the game. And then Crushing Hammer could be good too. It's a little bit greedy, but it does set them back. I think we just get another greens. Another greens. Well, I can Cynthia Caitlin for another greens, which is like cool. Let's go for the full green play. We'll just go here. I can Cynthia Caitlin for the greens, and there's like not too much that I need. So I think since I kind of have everything that I need, we just go for the high greed play there. Doesn't buff out, but that's fine. Because I'm already poised to knock out this Jirachi this next turn. And I'm going to save... I guess they knew what their hand was, so they played as many trainers down as they could. And then I should probably just stamp now. Because they had 2 trainers, they played them both down. And now I will Horror House. That's fine. And then I can just Cynthia and Caitlin for the greens this next turn. I expect that we're probably going to be knocking out this active. Cynthia and Caitlin and discard the spinner. Like, I don't want to try and set up the Omastar too fast because... Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if I just put this down, they could just knock me out. Power Plant seems good to just have down. I guess I should try to put it down, I guess. I think that's fine. And we'll go for the Poltergeist. All right, we got 1, 2, 3. So I hit for weakness, which is the only reason I'm taking this knockout, actually. So that's pretty nice. We hit for 300, fortunately. And they do just happen to have, you know, like the VMAX with the double energy in their hands. They can knock out my Fossil, but ultimately, if they knock out my Fossil, it doesn't really matter. I think this matchup should be so good with the Power Plants and the fact that we hit for weakness, that, and the fact that we resist fighting, it should be just such a good matchup that it doesn't matter. Like, even if they go get themselves a second, then they can't detonate. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. All right, cool. Then a G-Max Rapid Flow. And we resist. That's good. Now we could see if maybe we can hit the Mallow Lana off the gear. That'd be kind of cool. But they are just... Got boss's orders. They are just... very weak to Psychic right now. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to end up using greens. Now, is their trainer a useless trainer in the discard pile? The Pokemon Communication, I guess, but they can use that. The switch is like good for them. I definitely want to give them something. Oh, I could stamp them. Yeah, we're definitely doing that. I think we just bench this, stamp them up to 5. We greens. And you just want to go double box and just swing for the fences. That's such an insanely high greed play. I mean, because actually it's guaranteed, right? No. Right? 100, 200. They would have to have 1 if I did it all. Tag Call for Mallow and Lana. They probably have at least 2 trainers in that hand. So I think a Tag Call seems good. Yeah, let's do that. I suspect that if I go double, that I'm taking the knockout. I suspect. Because then, if I stamped them to 5 and 2 of those 5 cards... Alright, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah. And you're out of here. So, that way I still have a surprise box in my deck. I don't want to use them all. Because, well, that could be bad. Grabbing the Tag Call gives me some options to draw cards. Having 2 surprise box left in the deck is very good as well. We like that. And I only have 1 prize left to take. And a boss's orders in my hand. So Jirachi is looking mighty fine right now. And you can see how this deck it can win games without Omastar. The Omastar is kind of like icing on the cake in some matchups. You don't necessarily need it. And I think that this deck is definitely favored against the Urshifus, the fighting resistance. The fact that you don't have to put any weak Pokemon down on the bench is really good. You know, the fact that you play the Tag Call engine with Mallow Lana is really good. The fact that you play Power Plant to turn off Jirachi GX is really good. I think that there's a lot going for you in the Rapid Strike Urshifu matchup. I think there's a lot going for you in the Pika-Rom matchup. Because, again, we play Power Plants to turn off their Mewtwo and Mews. We can hit their Mewtwo and Mews for weakness. If they're not attacking with Mewtwo and Mew, they're attacking with Boltund and Pika-Rom, who have, you know, 200 and 240 hit points respectively. So they get knocked out pretty easily. I think there's a lot going for us in the ADP matchup as well, because we play hammers, we play, you know, those energy disruption cards, and we can item lock them really bad because they usually kind of just bench themselves out because they're digging through their deck so fast. And also ADP decks play an absurd amount of trainers and items, so they can get Horror House really bad and just stuck super easy. Now it looks like CFS is digging, looking for the card they need, and I think that they are potentially out of luck here. Now, all I need is 2 trainers, and I take the win. So let's just thin ourselves, and we'll just kind of take this nice and easy and Mallow and Lana this turn. That seems fine. You know, and they might not have 2 trainers in the hand, but if not, that's okay. We'll just Poltergeist. Yeah, they've got 1. It's fine. Still put ourselves in a fine position. And then I can Cynthia and Caitlin for greens next turn and go grab a couple of Surprise Box. I think healing there just seems like the best play. I mean, at this point, we've got 2 Gengar and Mimikyu just set up. And it's really only a matter of time before we're able to catch them slipping with a couple more trainers in the hand. Or go get ourselves a greens or something like that. We definitely have a very good board. And it's really cool that with this deck, you don't actually need, you know, you don't actually need the Omastar, and the fact that, like, if you force them to knock out the Omastar, they still have to take out 2 Gengar and Mimikyus, which are surprisingly difficult to KO in this format because every deck is gearing itself to knock out either VMAXs or to 2-hit KO VMAXs now, right? Like, Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX just does not do very well against this kind of tag team. Even like my Victini VMAX deck, when I played against this deck the other day, Victini VMAX, you know, Reshizard only hits this thing for 230, which is really bad because, you know, it's just not enough. And then, you know, Victini only hits this thing for 100, which is not great. All right. Do we think that they have... What can I put back to the hand? There's like no useless trainers I can put back. I think we Surprise Box the boss. Which is like potentially useless. Then bring up this. Yeah, and it's GG's. Because that thing's weak to Psychic. So there we go. That's it. GG CFS. Let's go. And that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, ring that bell, and check out the link to these t-shirts in the description below. I'm only going to be selling them for 1 week, and I can't promise that there'll be any left over after Sunday. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Y'all have a busted day. Peace.